we're going to start off with the community building work group. Jeffrey was having connection problems. I think well, that's Jeff Liu. Did Jeffrey Pullis come back or
No.
no? Okay, and I know Isabel had the co-chair of community building had a conflict. So, Alex, you're on again. You're going to talk about the faith-based work group.
Yeah, I guess I'll jump in really briefly to talk about the faith-based working group. So this is a working group that's kind of been in existence, but I don't know if anybody knows about it or knows what we do. So I just wanted to take a chance to kind of describe who we are. So our mission statement is we are a multi-faith group committed to the transformation and renewal of ourselves and our faith communities into leaders caring for creation through compassion, humility, and the pursuit of environmental justice. And so I think one thing that a lot of people might not know about the faith-based working group is that it's not just one faith. We really want to emphasize that we want people from all faith backgrounds, all religious backgrounds. Personally, myself, I am a Christian. I'm a non-denominational Christian, but I don't want just Christians in this group. I want everybody, if you have a faith group that you identify with, to feel welcome and like you can get something out of this group. So why we're doing a faith-based group is that many of the different faith traditions do call for environmental action in various ways. I know it's in the Bible. It's also in the Quran. So there's a lot of different opportunities for us to be able to use those. It's also an intersection of our own identities with an opportunity for action. So it brings our passion for environmental justice and aligns it with maybe our identity and our values that we get from our faith background, and then gives us a chance to funnel those two together and to make some concrete changes or to, work towards activism. And it also gives us a chance for shared values that can create an opportunity for communication, because a lot of times to build a relationship with somebody that you're trying to bring into the environmental movement or you're trying to talk to about climate change, having that prior connection or those shared values can be really key when it comes to communicating about it. And so by using our faith traditions as a shared value with somebody that we're kind of trying to bring into the movement, that already builds that bridge that we can then use and kind of go forward with. And then on top of that, it's really needed in the United States. I know I can't speak for every faith background, but I can speak, and I can't speak for every Christian out there, but I do know that especially in the United States, the white evangelical Christian church is typically very anti-climate change, think it's a hoax, yada, yada, yada. So personally, I feel like this is kind of my duty and my calling as somebody who identifies as a Christian to outreach to these groups and kind of try and get everybody on the same page. So that's my personal reason for why I'm in this group, and why I think that it's really critical. And then another reason we really want to have a faith-based working group is that there's concrete infrastructure opportunities. We've talked about solar panels. So if your faith tradition involves going to a place like a physical place of worship, like a church or a synagogue or a temple or, whatever, those have roofs, and too often they don't have solar panels. And we think like that's a missed opportunity. So there's actual like concrete physical changes that we can help faith groups make. And then finally, it's a partnership opportunity for environmental action. Traditionally, a bunch of different faith groups have taken action on causes related to environmental activism. I heard a story about a group of Quakers, I think in Pennsylvania, who did kayak protests against, I don't know the story, so I'm sorry, but basically they were kind of trying to bring awareness to a justice opportunity. I think it was a war somewhere. I'm sorry, guys, I need to do my research. But basically, this group of Quakers kind of led this initiative that ended up making the United States government kind of pull back on supplying, I think it was arms, to other countries. And so a faith group did that. And so we feel like there are other opportunities to partner with groups for environmental action there. So the concrete idea of what we actually do is that I'm hoping for bi-monthly meetings or as needed, kind of depending on what members are looking for. The time and date is to be determined. So the great thing about this group is that there are very few members. So we're very open to different changes that need to happen or being flexible with people's schedule. And then other than that, we also gather resources related to faith and climate for other people to use and reference. I'm kind of working on trying to get my own personal church to start recycling. And so once I have a game plan for that, I can share that as a resource for other groups as well. We want to contribute to different environmental justice causes. And then we also want to outreach to different faith traditions to help them move more towards the climate movement, where it's outreaching to your own faith tradition or maybe helping other groups as well. So that is essentially what I'm hoping for the faith-based working group. But I think that was right at 5 minutes, so I'm done.
Thank you, Alex. And we appreciate that. Let me give a little context. What we're trying to do today, and we'll be doing in future meetings, is introducing some of the work groups. We can't do all of them. If you go to our website, you could see all the working groups. Today, we're highlighting a few of them and a couple of new ones. So if you have some extra energy and time, we're trying to match you up with one of these work groups so that you can help in that area. Or if there isn't a work group that appeals to you, maybe you'll start a work group. We're going to hear from Rebecca in a few minutes. She started a plant people work group. So we have people all the time starting work groups that are of interest to them. So hopefully you'll be interested in some of these work groups and connect with the people speaking today. We're not going to talk about all the work groups today, but a few of them. So let me ping. Jeffrey, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I thought that might be you in the 817 number. Are you in a position to talk now, or I can wait a little bit? Which would you prefer?
Well, my internet and Wi-Fi went down, so I'm not sure when I'm gonna. It keeps crashing on me, so now is as good a time as any, I guess. I can speak briefly.
Good. Thank you, Jeffrey. Tell us about your work group and your ideas.
All right. I joined our organization about a year ago now. I'm kind of foggy as the time, and when I found out about the self-care working group and sat in on one of the yoga sessions, and then participated in some of the listening circle groups. And when the opportunity arose, I decided I would co-chair it with Isabel, and here I am. A word about our group. Working on climate issues with my legislators is rather difficult, and some of you may feel the same way about yours. Just the other day, I got an email from my District 12 representative talking about Socialist Biden and how we needed to reopen the Keystone Pipeline and lessen the regulations on gas and oil extraction. And she never responds to any emails or attempts to contact her. And for me, banging my head against a brick wall is a difficult thing. And self-care seemed like a good idea. Now we've restructured the self-care working group, and we're now calling it the community building work group, because I'm starting to see that when you're not getting much sense of accomplishment from dealing with legislators or whatever. What we have to fall back on is ourselves. And that's important to have a network of people to fall back on who are all sharing the same vision for the future. And there can be many ways of doing that. The first steps that we've taken is to expand what we already were doing. Now, with the help of some new people, Johnny and Dominique, who were helping Leah with the yoga, and we're now going monthly, every month, with yoga every fourth Saturday at 10 o'clock. And we also going to try to do monthly listening circles every first Saturday, starting in March at 11. And we have lots of room for people to come in. We meet monthly on the second Monday at 6 o'clock in the evening. Through all of these are through Zoom. And part of my vision for the future, and I'll close with this, is that we need to get to know the other people who are in our new gerrymandered legislative districts, and reach out to each other and support each other for working on the legislative actions. Sort of maybe even getting together in person once that becomes more possible. So those are the sort of things that we're planning on working towards. And I guess I'll bring that to a close now. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I'm glad you could connect, and we appreciate the update on the community building work group. Let's move ahead with the business work group. Mickey, I think you're up, and I believe you have some slides, so you're welcome to share your screen if you wish.
Thank you, Richard. And let me share that screen. And I'm going to, my computer's taking a second to catch up. This is the business working group, and this goes back about 2 years. And our project is creating the Climate Boot Camp, which is a joint project with Climate Reality and the Harvard Alumni for Climate and Environment. And we've had a vision for how we build mass action and momentum. So let me give you a little background to the story. What Climate Reality does, and we do it all over the world, is when a business, or for that matter, any kind of an organization, a city government, a faith-based organization, contacts us and says, we want to know more about it, we have volunteers that will go out and speak and do the 101 or 30-minute, 1 hour, whatever they want at a school or whatever presentation. That's basically an awareness presentation. And Climate Reality has been very successful at creating awareness. And in fact, today, 70% of the voters say that we have a climate crisis, and 62% say that it's man-made. But we have not
Mickey, sorry, I think you're sharing the presenter view. It doesn't really matter if you don't care.
Sorry.
I just want to let you know.
Sorry.
Yes.
Hold on, I've selected the wrong screen. Sorry, guys. Let me, this is not going to work though if you're not seeing what I'm trying to show you. So let me start over on that piece. Thank you, Leah. And I want to share one. So you should see an Earth now. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. then I'm going to move my presentation over there and do that one. Now are you seeing my screen or the presenter view?
Yeah, it's the presenter view, but if you just go to the display settings at the top,
Yep.
and then I think it should, should
Got
drop
it.
down, and then there should be a, what is it, duplicate?
There we go.
One we
Is
want.
that it? We should have it. You should have it in there, right?
There it goes.
Yes.
Sorry for my technical incompetence, gang. But to go back to the story of this, so we're good at creating awareness, but we have not been good at creating action. And so I started asking experts who are right here in our chapter, what would you do to create action? And I want to tell you, this is not my program. This is based on talking to people and saying, how do you do this? And we found out it comes down to 2 or 3 key things. One is we have to activate our organizations. And if we're going to activate it's not enough for me to not use styrofoam. We have got to have our companies, our city governments. I mean, several of you have already talked about this in this meeting. It's a question of one, how do I go in and make a suggestion? And I've got to start with people who are already in the organization. Everybody on this call is in organizations. Every one of us work at jobs. We belong to some church or synagogue or place of worship. We have kids going to schools. All of us are engaged in organizations. So we went to psychologists and said, how do you carry someone from awareness to taking action? What is that transformational process like? What do we have to do? So we've had over 100 people, experts, work on both what would be the content of the change. Y'all talked about solar. We have presentation on energy. What about solar? What works in energy, and how do you get your organization to adopt that? And what is the process you go through with an organization to move from awareness to taking action? So this is truly built. We had 38 expert speakers. We had the CEO of Project Drawdown, Ken Berlin. We have the White House advisor on the climate. We have the head of the Harvard Environmental Center. I mean, you name them. We got the experts together and we forced them into a TED Talk format. So people who speak for 2 hours, the president of Mexico at the World Economic Forum was almost insulted when we told him he had 8 minutes. But as a result, we've created a program that you can sit down and get a complete overview of the environmental crisis and how you can become effective at making a change. So let me walk through it, but I'm going to tell you, every one of you are going to be invited to come to a presentation May 2nd, and I'll come back to that. So the purpose is to enable individuals to start with us. How do I get enabled? And then let us know what we've got to know to enable our organizations to become effective at environmental and sustainability action. So it's how to conduct a transformational journey, how we move them from awareness to action. We wanted to stimulate emerging sustainability leadership to action, and we found out that that happened. We did our beta. We were going for 1,000 registrations. We got 1,300 registrations with the first email letter we sent out to the Harvard alumni. We had over 500 people take it, and I'm going to come back to how they rated it in a few minutes. But what they told us in focus groups, they take action when they take it, because it's self-directed. It's not telling you got to take this action. It's helping you find the action you can take effectively and helping you get ready to know how to take it. Second, we wanted to provide them the knowledge resources to enable that leadership. What do you need to know? Knowledge is power. So we're providing training, an e-workbook that gives you an easy curated references. There are 1 billion plus references to sustainability on Google. We've cut that down to 150 of the most useful websites, TED Talks, etc. Transformation process and roadmaps to transformation. How do you plan a transformation and conduct it successfully? and then effective sustainability strategies. Once you got their attention, what do you do about the food, the environment, circular economy, energy, and so forth? And of course, networking. So we created a self-directed training program, and it's directed by you, the attendee, so you can study the pieces that are important to you. First, it's a transformational journey. It's about building commitment and your change-making skills. There are 5 1.5-hour online sessions with small group discussion and planning exercises and follow-up. As I said, 38 expert speakers from Harvard, Climate Reality, Yale, Georgetown, literally from all over the world. The e-workbook, over 100 references that are curated by experts, and it's video, websites, literature, film, music, and art. Fully automated. You get that workbook and you keep it forever as a reference. It's a personal and organizational guide to sustainability planning. How do you do it? And you get a certificate of completion. And what I want to tell you is when you get your certificate of completion, there's one additional session on how you introduce people to it, and you will be able to invite others to take it later. Once you've completed it, you will get the right to issue invitations to other organizations to come and attend it as individuals or organizations. So let me show you what the e-workbook looks like, assuming I can make this all work here. You should be seeing a world spinning in the globe. This is the e-workbook. On the left-hand side, you see the different subjects. So if I scroll through it, the introduction is kicked off by Ken Berlin. The strategies that work, we have sessions on transportation, built environment, industry, energy use, circular value chain, food and ecosystems. You can take as many of those as you want, one or all. What we find out is the average person takes about 2.5. Depends on what's relevant to you. Then we go into how do you change the status quo? How would you have a conversation with that representative if you get in front of them to get them started on a trail? How do you go from this is not real, it doesn't exist, to taking action? Then the road to change, how you build both your plan and the kind of plan your organization should have. What are the key elements your organization should address? Finally, building support. How do you build support for the change? So I'm going to, well, let me go back to building support. Well, I'll do introduction. If when you're taking the program, you click on this and I want to know more about it, first place, I've got the whole unit lecture. You can take this at your own pace. This is TED Talks that take you through this subject. It's about 1.5 hours of material here. You have a summary that gives you an overview. I can read the summary and know what this session's covering. The big opportunities are, what are the opportunities for actions? What is it you need to do from this section? What are your takeaways? And then the lectures, who's speaking and what they're talking about. So if I then go over to explore and I want to know more about this, I have video. And the video's down here on a carousel, just like you see at Hulu or you see at Netflix. I have readings. This links me to websites, could be the Department of Energy, but to the relevant articles you need to know about this if you decide this is important to you. The podcasts, web references, and over here I have music, art, and films, both documentaries and movies about this subject. So to go back, and let me see if I can put this back up here. Where am I? There it is. Got to. All right, from the current slide. Y'all should see that slide up again, hopefully. We're inviting the Dallas chapter, which will be our host chapter. Dallas is the host chapter for this activity. On May 2nd through 14th, we're going to have another showing of it. There will be Saturday small group sessions for discussion. But to this session, we're inviting the National Business Working Group. So all of the chapters all over the world in the Business Working Group will be coming to the same session. We're inviting all the Southwestern chapters to come to this, plus Portugal. Portugal was, when they heard about this, they really, really, really wanted to do the Harvard one, but we didn't have any more slots left. So we put them off. So they're going to come to this one. Plus VIPs. We have other organizations that want to send representatives to see this to adopt it for their organization. We're asking people in this chapter for help as we evolve the program. And I will tell you, it has truly taken on a life of its own. I mean, this started out with people in Dallas talking to each other about a need. And now we have people literally coming to us saying, we want to be able to use this. We're inviting our chapter members and your guests. Somebody, the echo came up. Can y'all hear me clearly? Okay. The guests you can invite. If you have somebody in an organization, a school, a city government, et cetera, you want to bring, you can invite them. You just need to let us know to take this. It is self-paced with discussion groups, okay? They're 5 hour-and-a-half sessions, and the way it's going to work is we'll have a little kickoff, explain it, and it will be kicked off on May 2nd. Everybody who's registered will then have the e-workbook, and they will be able to move through that e-workbook at their own pace. But we will have a Saturday discussion session, small group discussion session, where we will cover the first 2 sessions. And then the following Saturday, we'll have a conclusion where we will cover the last 3. The first 2 are going to be really about the strategies that work. It'll be about energy, food, agriculture, et cetera. How do you do it? And the second Saturday will be about how do I get to be effective at introducing this in organizations I'm engaged in. When you complete the boot camp, as I said, you then will have, you'll get actually 2 certificates of completion. And the second certificate of completion will allow you to invite organizations and individuals to take it. So Richard, that's really the end of my presentation. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I think I am here. And are there any questions that people have for me?
We have time for maybe one question. We need to move on, but ask Mickey questions in chat, or Mickey.
Or email.
What's your email address, Mickey? Maybe you
I'll
can
put it in chat. I'll put it in chat. And we've got, Brittany and Mark and Jim, and I don't see everybody on my screen, but we've had a number of people in our chapter work on this program.
Very impressive. That what you described really is amazing. Yeah. Congratulations for doing that. We have time for one question. Anybody have a question? We do need to move on though. Looks good. Okay, so people will ask you through email. Very good. Much appreciated, Mickey, and all the people working on that project. Okay, a sort of new work group. Rebecca did a presentation 2 or 3 months ago for us about food, and she's gonna talk to us about a work group near and dear to her heart. Rebecca, you have the floor.
Okay, yeah, sure. When I first joined Climate Reality about a year ago, I introduced myself as a plant person because I like plants. I like to talk about them. I like to eat them. I like to grow them. And I guess that name kind of stuck. So Leah emailed and said, about time to start a working group, don't you think? And I said, sure. So I mean, it's like a week old. We're looking for members to take action. I mean, I feel like I can resound off so much of what's been said, you know, just take action rather than it's not enough to grow your own herbs. You know, we've got to get more actionable items here within the Dallas community. So looking for people who have the time and the energy to do so. I know all of our time and energy is always spread so thin. There's always another Zoom meeting to do. But if this is something that resonates with you as well, then I'd love to connect with you and work towards changing the way that Dallas is, just the opportunity Dallas has to go forward in this climate movement and really be considered one of the forward-thinking and greener and more sustainable cities from the food perspective. So I came up with a mission and a couple of goals, but very open to working with others on these things such as, the community building group that Jeffrey mentioned. He didn't mention about the tree planting event that I believe they're doing that I'm latching onto. So that way we could have our first goal to work towards. Also talking about introducing community gardens, talk about pollinator gardens. I believe Simon has unfortunately direct experience with how code enforcement handles that, but also bigger things from a legislative perspective, what we do with farming in general as we move forward into the coming decades. So I'm open to hearing ideas. I'm open to members. I'm also open to other forms of communication other than Zoom. If group emails work better, or Facebook Messenger or text messages, because I sometimes, I mean, I'm currently at a park right now. There is someone supervising my children, but I just find Zoom meetings, sometimes I can make them, sometimes I can't. But if you are like me and you need to just find a different way to communicate, then I'm open to that too. So I'll just keep it short and brief. I'll try and keep updated on Discord. I like that server to talk about what projects we'll do, and yeah, just try and get off the ground running and see where we can take it.
Great. Thank you, Rebecca. Appreciate it. Okay, so those are our formal work group presentations. We had at least one more work group that has a pressing need, and there may be other work groups that I can give you a minute or two to speak. But Molly, you wanted to talk about your work group, the energy work group, and a particular need that you have. You have the floor, Molly.
Thank you. So the Greening Dallas ISD project, which is a spinoff, or actually the first project of the energy group, has a need right now to get people who have experience in social media and technical skills on website, especially WordPress. Richard is helping, and we have some others who are trying to get the website finished. It's getting really, really close. I mean, it's usable right now. But we need some people who can focus on the social media. So if you have skills or interest in learning the skills and working with us to get information out to students and others who support green schools through things like Twitter, and then TikTok and Instagram, there is an organization that we can work with that actually is willing to pay students and others, other youth who are interested in putting together short videos that, especially on TikTok and Instagram. And then we'll also have a Facebook presence. And this is just things that have already been kind of set up by UT Dallas group of students who are doing this as a marketing project, but all they had to do was get them started. And so there's no content. We need someone who can work with us to put some content out there, and who can keep them active and make sure that people are responded to and so forth. So if you have an interest or skill in that area, please let me know. I'll put my contact information in the chat. So thank you so much. I know we have a lot to cover. This is a great meeting, and I'd like to present sometime later about the success we've already had in our group and on this issue, but that will be for a later time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Molly. You might put the URL of the website in as well, greeningdallasisd.org. The website is coming along nicely.
Will
Good.
do.
Is there anybody else who needs a minute or two about an action coming up with their work group that would like to speak, or have we? I know we've had quite a few work groups talk, but is there anybody else who needs a minute or two? If you'll raise your virtual or physical hand, I'm scrolling back and forth between the screens.
Hey, Richard.
Yes, Alex.
I just wanted to let everybody know, and I'll be sending out an email with more information, but I got an email from West Dallas One, who we're trying to coordinate a little bit more with for environmental justice events. They have a meeting or an event next Saturday on the 26th at 10 a.m. It's virtual and in person, but it's called Shingle Pollution 101, and it's talking about the shingle plant that's in West Dallas and kind of the health effects from that. So if anybody's interested, I'm going to be sending out more information, but that's at 10 a.m. Next Saturday.
Thank you, Alex. Okay, I think we're ready to move on. Let's see real quick. Yeah, I think we are ready to move on. We're doing pretty good. Roger, you've been very patient. You want to talk about things that are going to be happening with the Education Committee. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Richard. And I will be mercifully brief. If I've got screen sharing, I've got 3 quick slides, announcements for things from the Education and Training Committee. So am I enabled? I hope. Okay. Let me just press play. So the first thing I have is an announcement. This is not official, but it's very close. I just talked to chapter support yesterday, wanting to know about the training plans for this year. So for anyone who's on the call who has not been to a training, Climate Reality is going back to Las Vegas. There was a training plan there in 2020. It was the first of 5 that were planned, and also the first to be scuttled by the pandemic. This will be our first return to an in-person training. Again, it's not official, but if you're not trained, put it on your calendar, June 10th through 12th in Las Vegas, Nevada. For those of you that have been with Climate Reality for a while, they will, of course, need mentors. It's a great opportunity. Mentoring in a live training is a really special experience. So I encourage you all to consider applying if you got the time and can do that. So that's the first thing. The second thing, Education Committee this year is hoping to expand your abilities in all of the different categories of acts of leadership. And the first one that we're going to take on is the act of leadership called letters and op-eds. I'm excited to say that we'll be meeting on Wednesday, 7 p.m. So next week is a very busy week. I will put the link in the chat as soon as I finish talking. Both Jayashri Prasad, who has had a great deal of success in the last year in writing articles for publication, and also Amy Hunt, who comes with a background in journalism and marketing, are going to be speaking in this get together. And we met this morning for some planning. It's growing rapidly. We're now talking about forming a writing team that will not just be reactive in the sense of writing letters about articles already published, but will begin to be proactive in getting some messaging out to the public. So whether you're already an experienced writer or you don't really think you have writing abilities at all, come anyway, find out about what we're going to be doing with this project. And along the way, you can earn your your badge for this category of leadership. So again, Wednesday night, 7 p.m., please come. And then one final thing, an invitation that has gone out, but I want to repeat it. And this is specifically for those of you in the chapter who have trained with Climate Reality, but you've never given a presentation. This is far less ambitious than the program that Mickey just talked about, but I'm 100% in agreement with Mickey. We have been very effective in building public awareness. We have been far less effective in moving people to action. But as it says in the descriptions of the acts of leadership, presentations are the cornerstone of the leadership core in Climate Reality. So coming to this training program that we're running again this year does not obligate you to give presentations, but I hope to be giving you more of a sense of how you can do that effectively in ways that will move people to action. So if you are interested in joining one of these training programs, just get in touch with me. I will also put my email address in the chat. We have a group of 11 people training right now, 6 from our chapter and 5 from the New Orleans chapter. I am planning to open this up to the Austin, San Antonio, and Houston chapters, but I would love to have people from our chapter first. So if you are at all interested and you've never given one, this is a chance to get over the hump and give your first, or at least move in that direction. Just get in touch with me. With that, Richard, I'll stop sharing and hand it back to you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Roger. Some good stuff coming up from education. Okay, we have a few quick announcements about some events coming up. Dominique, you've been working on an Earth Day festival. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, of course. So I would like to invite you all to mark your calendars for a Earth Day Fest on April 3rd. It is going to be in Oak Cliff at Lake Cliff Park. And so they're getting together to celebrate with the community. They do it, this is going to be their 13th event. So it's a grassroots event that honors nature, the environment, and the planet. So we will have a table set up there. So later we'll get more information on like any help we may need, or just for you to participate in what else is going to be going on at the event. So yeah, mark your calendars. It is April 3rd, and it's going to be from noon to 5. And it's yes, so Lake Cliff Park in Dallas.
Thank you, Dominique. That should be a lot of fun. We've been looking forward to in-person events. There's another in-person event coming up. And let's see, Melinda, you're going to talk to us about very important resource trees.
Thanks, Richard. Okay, I actually took notes and then timed myself because I was told I had 3 minutes. I'm going to try to do that. I got an email not that long ago from Texas Trees Foundation about they're doing in-person tree planting, several of them this spring. The chapter has done this before, and I thought, hey, are we doing it this time? So I got in touch with Richard and Isabel. And Rebecca couldn't join our meeting, but yay, plant people. So Texas Trees Foundation is a nonprofit research, education, and tree planting organization. They plant trees at schools and parks in Dallas. They partner with the city of Dallas on the Dallas Urban Forestry Master Plan, which is an awesome thing. Reasons to join in the tree planting. I mean, it supports our mission directly because trees capture carbon, and they also mitigate the urban heat island effect, which is a really big deal for health of people, animals, the environment, everything. In fact, their 2017 study, the results of that show that Dallas is heating faster than every other city in the United States except for Phoenix. Phoenix is in the desert, so this is like big. It's also a chance to network with other people, maybe show our climate realityness to people that don't know about us, and just be with people who have share similar values. So that's part of the self-care, is you get to meet these people. It's mental and physical health. And it's an opportunity to help our neighbors, because a lot of times they plant trees in neighborhoods that don't have as many trees. The group chose the date April the 2nd because all three of us that were at the meeting could be there. Shifts 9 to 1, but you can do half shifts of 9 to 11 or 11 to 1. When you sign up, lunch and t-shirt are mentioned, so if you're interested in that. Details to follow from the chapter via email, newsletter, Discord. There are other dates if you can't make the April 2nd or you want to do more. I've signed up for 5 of them because, you know, I've missed my rallies, protests, and in-person things. If you are able to and you either can't physically plant a tree, or if you want to do both, they are always looking for contributions, financial contributions. It's a worthy cause. And that's about it.
Thank you, Melinda. Appreciate it. So everybody was wondering what they were going to be doing the weekend of April 2nd and 3rd. April 2nd, we have tree planting. April 3rd, we have the Oak Cliff Earth Day Fest. So we have a full weekend of activities. That's pretty exciting for the first time. Roger, I think you wanted to know everybody's congressional district. Is that correct?
Oh, yikes. Okay, y'all, I am not going to call names, but I could, because I have the list. There are still people, even in this meeting, who have not sent me the information on your current congressional district. We don't have your addresses. We don't have any way to get your addresses. Climate Reality doesn't have your literal mailing address. You have to tell us what district you're in. I'm going to put a link in the chat right now for an article in Texas Tribune. If you go to that article, enter your address, your mailing address. It will immediately tell you what your new districts are. Send me your U.S. congressional district, your Texas Senate district, your Texas House district. Please, please, please. We are trying very hard to get our political activism organized, but we can't organize until we know what district you're in. So if you haven't done it, I've just dropped the link in the chat. I see Alex is doing it too. You got the link multiple times. Please send it to me and we'll proceed with organizing. Thanks.
Thank you, Roger. And also there's a lot going on in chat. People are there's so many things going on with work groups. Somebody's wondering about the calendar. So Pradeep says that the chapter calendar is available for all these events. We definitely need to get them on the chapter calendar. There'll be emails and other information forthcoming. Okay, so we're at the very end of the meeting now, and so many interesting things going on, so many things to be involved with. I know I'm getting a little wound up from all the activities that I can participate in. It's not easy for you to tell that, but I can assure you. Johnny's going to finish us up and do a little self-care. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to be well to help heal the earth and work with the people we need to. So Johnny, I think you have a lot of background in this sort of thing, and you're going to work with us for a few minutes to finish the meeting.
Thank you, Richard. I have a guided imagery to share with you. So I'd like to invite you to get comfortable. Begin with a few slow, deep breaths in through your nose and out through your nose, letting your body get relaxed. Let the chair fully support your body as you continue to breathe and relax. You can close your eyes or soften your gaze. Now use your imagination to picture yourself walking slowly along a path. It's a pleasant path, any kind that you wish. It's a beautiful day and you feel relaxed and happy. You can feel the warmth and energy of the sunlight on your skin. Soon you come to a gate. You know this gate leads to a special place where you feel welcomed, safe, and comfortable. Push the gate open and allow yourself to enter your very own private garden. As you continue to breathe, you notice that your garden is filled with your favorite things. Whatever is pleasing to you can be found in this place. Perhaps there are flowers, trees, birds, water, even music. Look around and notice what's in your garden. See all the colors and objects that are in this place. Notice how beautiful they are. Look at the many shapes and see how varied they are. Look at the ground, look at the sky, and see where they meet. Your garden is calm and tranquil. Everything peacefully coexists in the garden. As you are looking, become aware of how things feel in this private place of yours. Begin to explore this place with your sense of touch. Perhaps some things are soft and warm, and others are smooth and cool. Simply spend some time exploring, using your sense of touch as you continue to feel at peace and comfortable. Notice what the air feels like. Is it cool or warm? Is there a breeze or is it still? Take the time to feel the peace and serenity in this private place. As you continue to explore your garden by seeing and feeling, become aware of the sounds that you hear in your garden. The sounds in your garden are pleasing to the ear and very comforting. Perhaps it is quiet in your garden, or maybe there are a number of sounds. Some of the sounds may be very soft, while others may be louder. Relax and listen for a while, and see if you can identify the different sounds in your garden. As you're listening to the sounds in your garden, become aware of what smells you might smell. Take a deep breath in and notice the fragrances that are present. Some of them may be familiar, while others may be unfamiliar. The fragrances are pleasant and soothing. Take your time and enjoy your visit to the garden, using it in whatever way that you wish. Spend the time that is necessary for you to rejuvenate and to care for yourself. Continue to breathe in through your nose and out through the nose. When you are ready to leave, slowly walk back towards the gate of your garden. You've enjoyed your visit and feel relaxed and content. This good feeling will remain with you throughout the day. Push the gate open and return to the path that led you to the garden. As you make your way back up the path to the here and now, remember that you can use your imagination to return to your private garden at any time you wish. Visit your garden anytime you'd like to relax, to be comforted, or just enjoy its beauty. You're now ready to resume your day. Stretch gently, open your eyes, feeling relaxed and alert. Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny. That was very lovely. I
Mhm.
appreciate it. Well, we're 1 minute over our time. It's a miracle. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. Next month, we'll have a speaker and lots of information next month. Our speaker is Chip Pitts. He'll be talking about having those conversations with folks to get them motivated, maybe folks that you wouldn't typically communicate with. So we'll have a lot more information about that. In March, he'll be speaking, and then perhaps later on we'll have a full course of the same topic. Thank you, everybody, again for coming. Have a wonderful weekend. Looks like the weather's going to be wonderful.